Hello all, very good morning. So today I would like to start you the non-communicable diseases. So firstly we'll deal with the hypertension. So this is from community nursing. So we'll discuss only the epidemiology aspect of the topic. We are not going to the pathophysiology and all those things. Just I'll discuss regarding the epidemiology of this disease, hypertension. So coming to the hypertension. So everybody knows what is this hypertension. So increased systolic and diastolic pressures in the body is termed as an hypertension. So here, if you see this hypertension, it is a major health problem in the population. It is not pertain to a single country. It is currently a threat to all over the world. So it has a great relationship with the cardiovascular diseases, and the higher the blood pressure, the higher the rate of coronary heart diseases. So if you see here, this hypertension, it is divided into two types, primary and secondary hypertension. And this primary hypertension, it is also called as essential hypertension, and about the 90% of cases which are occurring, about the 90% of these cases hypertension, these are mainly essential hypertension cases. And if you see the secondary hypertension, this secondary hypertension, it is resulting due to any kind of a disease or infirmity. So whenever an abnormal condition is occurring in a person, for example, if a person is having the glomerulonephritis, if a person is having the chronic polynephritis or taxemia during the pregnancy or tumors of the adrenal gland, so all these are some of the secondary factors which are leading to the hypertension. So this is secondary hypertension. And what is the primary hypertension? So primary hypertension, it is also called as essential hypertension. It is occurring due to the lifestyle modification and our bodily issues. So if you see here, the primary hypertension, it is accounting about 90%, and the secondary hypertension, it is accounting about only 10%. So if you see hypertension, as I said earlier, it is a worldwide health disorder, and it has been a greater problem in India also. And there is a organization which called as Rotar. So it had conducted an urban population and rural population study for this hypertension in the village of Haryana. So when they have conducted in 1000 population who are living in the urban areas, 59.9% of the males are having the hypertension, and in 1000 population when it is coming to the females, 69.9% of the females are having hypertension who are living in the urban population. And if you come to the rural areas, so the people who are living in the rural areas, about 35.5%, that is in 1000 persons of males, we are having about 35.5% of the males having this hypertension. And coming to the females, 35.9% of the females in 1000 population are having the hypertension, those who are living in the rural areas. So what is the urban area here? In urban area, for 1000 population, 59.9% males are having the hypertension, and 69.9 female persons are having the hypertension when it is compared in 1000 number of population. When it is compared to the rural area, 35.5 males and 35.9% females are suffering with the hypertension coming to the rural areas. So this is hypertension. If you see the hypertension, these are the categories. So it is said to be normal when a systolic pressure is less than 120 mm of Hg mercury and diastolic pressure less than 80 mm of Hg. So we will consider him as a pre-hypertensive stage when the systolic BP is about 120 to 139 and diastolic is about 80 to 89. And we are considering him as a stage 1 hypertension when a person is having 140 to 159 the systolic pressure and 90 to 99 the diastolic pressure. Coming to the stage 2 hypertension, we are having the systolic blood pressure greater than 160 and the diastolic blood pressure greater than 100. And you can consider it as a hypertensive emergency when a person is experiencing BP more than 180 by 120. So it can lead to the death of the person also if he is left untreated. So these are the classification based on the textbook Neelam Kumari. Coming to the epidemiological triad of the hypertension. So we have agent factor, we have host factor, and we have environmental factor. If you see the agent factor, So the dietary habits, they are playing a major role. So when a person is consuming more number of saturated foods, alcohol and dietary pattern, using oral contraceptives and genetical things which had been passed from the other generations. So these are some agent factors which is leading to the hypertension. Coming to the host factors, so it is occurring in the aged person. So mainly it is coming, we can see the age and we can see the sex there. And coming to the environmental factors, so when a person is having stress and low socioeconomic status, these are all some of the environmental factors which are leading to the hypertension. So here if you see, when a person is consuming high alcohol intake, so whenever he is taking high alcohol, it is increasing the risk of high blood pressure. And when a person is consuming more than 7 to 8 grams per day of salt, so it is leading to the blood pressure proportionality. So when a person is taking salt which is exceeding the daily requirement more than 7 to 8 grams per day, and the persons who are using the oral contraceptives, so since in oral contraceptives the hormones are involved such as estrogen component, so this can lead to the increase in hypertension. And if you see the previous studies which had done on this hypertension, they are revealing that there is a clear-cut association between the blood pressure and the genetic factors which are coming from the family members. And next one is twin studies. They have confirmed the importance of the genetic factor. So this is the host factor. So coming to the host factor here, so the blood pressure is considered to be mainly associated with the age. The age advances, the more risk of the hypertension, and it is also increases the age in both sexes. So whenever a male person or a female person is going through the age, there are more chances of having this hypertension. And next one is, if you see some populations, so like primitive societies, the mean blood pressure, it has not risen with age shown in some studies. So in some primitive population, in primitive societies, the blood pressure it haven't raised, even the age has been increased by seeing some studies. Next one is, there is a little difference between the blood pressure between the sexes, and as well as the in early life and in late life. So if you see there, if you see the neonatal blood pressure, it will be varying. If you see the adolescent blood pressure, it will be varying, and if you see the adult blood pressure, it will be varying. So based on the age and based on the sex, the hypertension means the blood pressure is changing. And if you see, there is narrow difference between the postmenopausal changes and women who are contributing the factor for this change. So there, as the pregnancy is coming, there is blood pressure changes. When the menopause is coming, there is blood pressure changes, and when the patient is in any kind of stress or any kind of situation, there are this blood pressure changes. So we can see all the changes in the host factors. Coming to the environmental factors. So what are these environmental factors which are favoring the hypertension? Means psychosocial factors, mainly when a person is experiencing lot of stress, and when a person is experiencing anxiety, when a person is experiencing tension. So when a person is going through mental process, so unconsciously or unconsciously, so it may lead to the hypertension. Whenever you are feeling stressed, automatically your heartbeat increases and you can feel the heat in your body. So these are some environmental factors. So something which is happened against you, something which you have lost, something which made you angry. So all these things are contributing for this hypertension. And next one is high blood pressure. So if you see the low socioeconomic groups, where there are poor countries and which are in the post-transitional stage of the economic and epidemiological change. So the low socioeconomic status, the lower the dietary habits, and the lower the dietary habits, the lower the money, the lower the stress, the higher the stress and the higher the anxiety. Always there is a drive to achieve something. And the low socioeconomic persons, they are always in a situation to tackle everything. So what they will do, they will think a lot. So the stress, the anxiety and the tension which is present in them is leading to the hypertension. So how you can prevent this hypertension and how you can control? The first thing you can do is early case detection. So mainly the aim of this theme, early case detection, is to control the disease. So if you are going and screening the person in the rural areas, in urban areas, and if you come to know the person is in a stage 1 hypertension or in a pre-hypertensive stage, then you can give them health education, you can say them the lifestyle modification, and you can give the medications to the person so that they are not crossing the limit. So if you see, screening is one of the effective method of diagnosing hypertension. That's what I'm saying. If you are going and conducting the health camps, if you are going and conducting the screening there, so you can find out the people who are having this hypertension. And the control of hypertension, what it will do mainly, it will reduce the incidence of stroke, because hypertension is always associated with the coronary heart diseases. The more the higher hypertension, the more the high risk for the coronary heart diseases. So early screening, early diagnosis and early treatment can prevent lot of complications which are associated with this disease, hypertension. So control of hypertension, it reduces the incidence of stroke and complications, and it is achieved by identifying the case early and treating the hypertension case with the proper antihypertensives. So that's what we can reduce the. So next thing, the treatment of high blood pressure must normally be lifelong. So if you come to know that any person is suffering with the hypertension, the treatment should be in a long-term basis. Means you cannot stop the antihypertensive medications as you like. So you have to consult your doctor. So based on the doctor prescription, based on the dosage that had been adjusted by the doctor, you have to use the hypertensive medication, and there is a particular need to establish the compliance, and the compliance can be achieved through education directed to patients, families and the community. And if you see, this is the part of secondary prevention here. If you see here, whenever a person came to know that he is having hypertension, so the family members need to be educated, the person need to be educated, that lifestyle modification that has to be done, they must be educated to the patient, it must be educated to the family as well as the community. So all these things will help to prevent the secondary, all these things will help to prevent the hypertension in the population. So next thing is health promotion. So how you can promote the health? So whenever you are changing the lifestyle modification, when there is dietary changes, when there is proper regular exercise and regular healthy habits are taking place, then you can promote the hypertension. So if you see health promotion, it is a part of primary prevention. Means what is secondary prevention? When a disease is occurring in the person, you are treating the person and you are changing some lifestyle modifications. You are doing some lifestyle modifications which is preventing the secondary infections. So that is secondary prevention. So before the hypertension is coming, before any disease is coming and attacking you, if you are able to do this health promotion activities, primarily before occurring of the disease itself, you can prevent the disease. Next one is, it is including all measures to reduce the incidence of disease in a population by reducing the risk of onset. So whenever there is a healthy habits taking place in the society, so the risk for the disease will be reduced. And if you see, this should be started to as early as to achieve the effectiveness. So from first itself, if you are following the dietary habits, if you are following the healthy habits, then you can prevent lot of diseases, not only hypertension, you can even prevent the diabetes and other types of diseases which are associated with the dietary habits. Next thing is nutrition. So hypertension, it can be reduced by altering the diet. How? So when a person is consuming more number of salt, when he is taking more number of saturated fats, when he is eating the outside junk food, if you are able to prevent those nutrition things, then you can definitely reduce the hypertension. So mainly, as I said, so reduction of salt intake, that is not more than 5 grams per day, and reduction of fat in intake, that is in moderate amount, and appropriate amount of calorie intake according to the body needs. So you should not eat more than the body requirements. If you are eating according to the body needs, then you can reduce the hypertension, risk of hypertension. Next thing is reducing the weight. So hypertension, it can be reduced through proper reducing the body weight. So when a person is having higher the body weight, so there is higher the risk for the development of the blood pressure, means hypertension, reduction of the weight. And the next thing is physical activity and regular exercise. So when a person is going for a regular physical activity and regular exercise, so what it will do, it will reduce the body weight, it will reduce the body lipids, as well as it will reduce the blood pressure. Even when the stress situation comes, even when the person is doing the vigorous work or vigorous exercise or vigorous kind of any kind of thing, there the body will have the control, it will gain the capacity to control itself, and the blood pressure can be maintained, so that the person is not going for any kind of other changes or cardiac diseases. Next thing is lifestyle changes. So as I said, if you want to prevent this hypertension, you should go for this lifestyle changes. So what are these lifestyle changes? So for the reduction of the hypertension, you must reduce your stress, you must quit smoking, you quit the smoking and modify your personal lifestyle. So all these things, and if you do the yoga and if you go for proper meditation, so these can reduce your stress, and listening to the peaceful music, all these things will help to reduce the hypertension. So the thing you have to do is lifestyle changes. And the next one is encourage self-care activities. So a person should encourage himself. So hypertension, it can be reduced by encouraging the people to take care of themselves, means by measuring the own blood pressure and keeping the record and consulting the doctor whenever it is required. So if you do all these things, or if you follow all these regulations, you can reduce the risk of hypertension. And you have to guide the people to achieve the compliance with the medication, means the medications which can be taken by the hypertensive affected person. So whenever they are taking the medication in a correct dose which is prescribed by the physician in an appropriate time with the appropriate diet, you can reduce the hypertension and the risk of cardiovascular diseases which are related to hypertension. And the last thing you can do is health education. So all the general public, they must be educated related to the risk factors and related to the health behavior which is causing the hypertension, and people should have an awareness about the modification that has to be made mainly to prevent the hypertension. So people must have awareness regarding the health behavior which is leading to the diseases. Not only hypertension, people can be educated regarding diabetes, people can be educated regarding obesity, people can be educated regarding the diabetes and anemia. All these things they can be educated. So people should have an awareness regarding this, and they should modify their lifestyle based on the need which is required. So this is hypertension. Thank you so much for watching. So I'm mainly saying you with the community health topic. I'm not discussing the medical surgical thing. I'm discussing only the community aspect. So this is meant to write in the community health nursing exams. So if you have any queries, you can drop it down in the comment box, or you can share with me through my WhatsApp and email. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.